guys, they'll feel like they got their butt kicked at the end of it. But there's a lot of excitement around our program. One of the big reasons is these three guys that I was fortunate enough to bring today. I want to thank them for their time and effort. I want to thank Dr. Sands, our university president. I want to thank Whit Babcock, our athletic director. I want to thank the Hokie Nation, selling out 5 or 6 games last year in the middle of a rebuild. We've got some good momentum, but nowhere yet are we the team that we can be. We need to have a heck of a camp. The guys got a great mindset. They're invested everywhere they need to be invested. I'm excited about the team that we can be. I'll take some questions.
We've got microphones spread throughout the room, folks, if you would. Even though you may know Coach, please introduce yourselves for those that are watching at home and in their offices. Coach, we'll start to the right-hand side, far right-hand side, about the 4th row here.
Hey, Coach. Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Going into year 3, I'm curious, what do you feel like you've achieved with this program already, and what kind of is still out there that you feel like, hey, to be where we want to be, I need to get this done?
Yeah, I think first of all, it speaks volumes to the culture in our locker room, in our building. We've got great people that want to be at Tech for the right reasons, players and coaches. We've got players that decided to return and spurn the NFL, spurn other opportunities, maybe to make more money. We've got coaches that turn down opportunities to stay at Virginia Tech. There's a belief in our team. There's a belief in our process. The culture's strong, and to me, that's where it starts.
Coach, from the podium, all that said, how do you define accomplished greatness?
I think, first of all, for me, it's about doing things the right way, at a high level, and we're doing that. We've got great kids that are committed in the right places, that understand accountability, that aren't afraid of hard conversations, that love and understand what great competition does for you. They pay attention to details, and they work and are receptive to coaching mentality each and every day.
Coach, right side, 3rd row.
Tyler Budge, CF Budge. Your last post before this, you were a defensive coordinator at Penn State under James Franklin, and Manny Diaz was also just a defensive coordinator there. He now gets an opportunity as a head coach at Duke, same conference, kind of a full circle moment. What does that say about the way James Franklin runs his program and how he sets up his staffers for success?
Yeah, first of all, James Franklin I consider to be one of my best friends. We came up in this business together. He played quarterback for my father at East Stroudsburg. I was a young coach on the staff, and he gave me a great opportunity at Vanderbilt and then at Penn State. I learned a ton from James. But, I think he's done a great job. Ricky Ronnie at Old Dominion, Charles Huff at Marshall. He's doing things the right way, and I got a ton of respect for him. I got a ton of respect for Manny. I wish him a ton of luck all season long except for 1 week.
Coach, left side, we're going to go about midway through. Sir, if you'd raise your hand, please, so Coach can see you. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Todd Tracy, Legacy Maker Sports Network. So, Coach, tell me about the now this year, Virginia Tech and Miami rivalries coming back this season. Tell me about the expectation on that one, how excited about bringing that back to for the program and stuff.
I'm sorry, bringing what back?
The Miami Hurricanes versus Virginia Tech rivalry. Tell you about that, and what's the excitement about that?
Yeah, it's hard for me to talk about that because right now all I want to talk about is our preseason camp. But I do understand what that rivalry means to Virginia Tech faithful, to the alum, to the fans, former players. I was part of some big games in the 3 years that I was at Virginia Tech. So I do understand that. I mean, it's good for college football. It's good for the ACC. I'm excited about the game, but it's pretty far down the road for us right now.
Coach, left side, young lady in the suit there.
I'm Katrina Sackett for Sports and Culture Media. Coach, how are you?
Good.
You have some big guys returning. Your top 4 receivers have returned. What are your expectations from this receiver room?
Yeah, I'm very proud of that room. Arguably a real concern, our most concerning position going into last season. And this year, I'd say, could be one of our greatest strengths. Coach Mines has done a great job developing those guys, recruiting to that room. I think the competition that we create with our defensive backs, with Dorian and Mansour and those guys. I think the relationship that Kyron has with those wide receivers has been critical. There's a lot of good things happening in that room.
Coach, left side, follow the aisle up just at the end there.
Yep.
Hey, Coach. Faxon Childress, 105.5 The Roar. Wanted to ask you a little bit about the continuity and the retention in your roster and the NIL and transfer portal era. What you guys were able to do this offseason is very, very rare. How valuable is it to have the most returning production in the country back at Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I think that's valuable for anybody. You want that. I think it goes into bringing the right people into your program. Guys that want to be at Tech for the right reasons. I think it goes back to being a strong brotherhood. These guys love playing together. They believe in each other. They believe in team first. They enjoy Virginia Tech. I tell it all the time. I meet with each and every player at the end of the spring. And the last question I ask them is, do you like it here? And to a man, all but 4 or 5, the response was, Coach, I don't just like it here, I love it here. You know, and thankful for our collectives, for the Hokie Way and for Triumph. You know, we don't go outbid anybody for anybody, but we're going to be competitive and aggressive in that space. Our guys deserve that.
Coach, right side, first row.
Lever KT, CFP Nation. How's it going, Coach? Nice seeing you again. Lane Stadium has the best game day atmosphere.
Thank you.
In
Yeah,
the
you're right.
Country.
Yeah.
Enter Sandman comes on. It's an outer body experience. It's difficult to explain. What is it like coaching here on Saturdays?
Oh, man, I love running out of that tunnel. Even when I watch the highlight video of it, I get, chills. It's special. I think for all of us, you love the competition. You love playing in front of big crowds. You love the excitement of the entrance. And so we're very fortunate that way. I think our fans are some of the best in the country, and they pack the place. And they're jumping to that tune. And I mean, we come out of the locker room and Johnny Cash's God Will Cut You Down is just kind of slow playing as you take that walk. By the time you hit that tunnel, man, it's the best. So I just try and make sure I don't stumble coming out. That's all.
Coach, right side, third row, gentleman in white.
Hey, Coach. TJ Wilkerson from 90.9 The Light. Before you became a head coach, you had 30 years of coaching experience. My question is, how did that all prep you to become the head coach of what is considered the flagship school of Virginia?
He said that. I didn't. First of all, I'm fortunate to have been around some great coaches, starting with my father, 45-year veteran coach, college, high school level. He and I have the distinction of both coaching in a Rose Bowl and both losing to USC in a Rose Bowl. So he's my greatest influence, learned a lot from him. And then obviously James Franklin, Jeff Monken, Ricky Bussell, Bud Foster, Frank Beamer, so many guys that you learn so many good things from. And also, honestly, you learn some things that you don't want to do. That's just not how you want to do it. Now, there was no recipe and no playbook, no handbook for NIL and the transfer portal when I got to Tech. We hadn't had those experiences yet, but I think I'm blessed and fortunate to have been around some great coaches, man, the guys that cared about the players and were relationship-oriented. I still today, when I see Coach Beamer, I feel like a young GA. I mean, I just want to make him proud. I got a ton of respect for him. I see Bud Foster at our practices all the time. He's my greatest defensive mentor. So I'm very fortunate to be the head coach of Virginia Tech, and all of those people and all of those factors, played a part in me having this opportunity.
Coach, we're going to go up the aisle to the right. It's a little dark back there, sir. If you'll raise your hand. There we go.
Hi, Brent. Gene Wong, Washington Post. What strides have you been able to make from year one until now in terms of recruiting from the DMV? I know you had mentioned the importance of tapping into the talent from the National Capital Region to get the program where you want it to go.
Yeah, to me, that's home turf. It's too easy to get to Blacksburg from the DMV. There's too many relationships that we have on our staff with coaches and programs in the DMV. There's too many great programs to not return to the DMV each and every year. We treat it like home turf. And we've made some good strides there. We're invested there like we are in the Commonwealth. It just makes too much sense for us.
Coach, to your left, against the wall, the gentleman with the light ring there.
Coach Rob Johnson, Legacy Maker Sports, when you talk to these legends that have come before you, how hungry does it make you to bring back that standard? I talked about that with Florida State yesterday, keeping that standard. When you talk about Virginia Tech's standard, how hungry are you to bring that standard back along for your players?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. That's one of the reasons I returned to Tech. I want those expectations. I understand those standards. People talk about how do you handle the expectations. Well, we all know that has nothing to do with the team that we can be when we go to Nashville. But at the same time, we all came to Virginia Tech because of those expectations. This is a place where you should expect to compete for the playoffs and expect to compete for a championship. That's who Tech is.
Coach, all the way to the back of the room in the camera pit.
Back here.
All the way in the back, so towards the left.
Gotcha.
It's Brooke.
There we
Yep.
go.
Hey, Brooke.
Is there a win that you had in the offseason that you'd be willing to share with us?
I'm sorry, you said a win?
A win.
Yeah, it's called 3 weeks of vacation. I tell you what, the thing I'm most proud of is there was no sign of complacency on our football team. Our staff, our players, there a lot of pats on the back. There was success, there was accomplishments, and there was no sign of anybody coming off the gas, which I was very proud of. I consider that our biggest win this offseason.
Coach, as we finish our time with you here from the podium, I want to follow up. You said that you're looking forward to having a heck of a camp. At the end of August, how will you know you had a heck of a camp?
Yeah, to me, there's always weaknesses. There's areas you know you can be better at. There's areas you know through experiences you've got to be better than where you're at now. It can be depth. It can be technique. It can be somebody getting a fundamental squared away. It can be ball placement. It can be consistently catching the ball well with a particular individual. It can be making sure we have enough in the playbook to be, challenging when we need to be down the stretch. There's a lot of things that, you're always working to be better. And as a coach, you always have concerns where you're not at the ceiling, where you're not reaching potential. You always strive for that.
Coach, thank you. You can switch spots with Kyron. Kyron Drones will come up just for a moment. Folks, if you've already asked a question, please reintroduce yourself to our student athletes, and we will take our first one. Kyron down here, first row to your right. Squeeze a microphone down in there.
Jalen Wilson, CFB Nation. First off, how are you today, Kyron?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good. So, former NFL quarterback Michael Vick has talked about how he has high hopes for you this upcoming season, and it's known since Coach Pry has taken over in 2022, he's been around the Virginia Tech campus a lot more and the Virginia Tech football team a lot more. And I wanted to ask you, what advice, if any, has he given you to better help you prepare for this season?
He's really just told me to go out there and be myself. I know what type of quarterback I am, and then just me owning that and then just going out there and be myself, being able to work hard and going out there and try to lead the team to a win every week.
Kyron, we're going to stay on the right-hand side. Gentleman to the far right.
Hey, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Good to see you again. You heard the questions to Coach about the expectations around this program. How do you guys handle the fact that people are kind of loving on you this offseason?
I mean, it's a good feeling, but like Coach Pry tells us, don't really worry about it. I mean, last year was last year, so we know we're not the team that we want to be yet. We know what we're capable of, and then we just go out there and try to work hard each and every day and then go out there this season and go out there and prove it to ourselves.
Left side, second row, all the way down.
I'm Katrina Sackett for Sports and Culture Media. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Coach said, hey, heading into this season, our receiver room is stacked, and this could possibly be one of our greatest strengths out on the field. How excited are you for this arsenal of guys, and how are you hoping to utilize these guys?
I'm really excited. I'm just ready to go out there and give each and every one of them the ball and then go out there and let them go make plays. That's what they're here for. That's what they came here to do, and I'm ready to go out there this season and go be one of the top offenses in the country.
Right side, third row, gentleman with the white shirt.
How you doing? TJ Wilkerson from 90.9 The Light. You have a majority of your players returning to this team. How does that help the chemistry going into this season?
I mean, it just exudes confidence. just being out there, not really having to learn anybody new, just going out there and building off the chemistry you had last year, and just being able to go out there and keep doing what you were doing, and then just go out there and just go make plays.
From the podium, last year 17 touchdowns against only 3 interceptions. You learned a lot with the 17 touchdowns. What did you learn about the 3 interceptions?
Explain that, what you mean?
You had 3 interceptions last year, and those are obviously 3 interceptions too many for you. What did you learn about you in those situations that will lead to being a better quarterback this year and hopefully cutting down on those interceptions?
Just not really forcing the ball when I don't have to. Just knowing when to just take the sack or just throw the ball away, and then just, like I said, not really just forcing the ball. And that's what I did last year with those 3 interceptions. I'm trying to go down on that this year.
Let's go back to the right-hand side, third row, back to TJ, white shirt.
So the front row brought up a great point about how great of an atmosphere Lane Stadium is. I want to ask you, being on the field as a quarterback, what is the atmosphere for you like on the field during the games with how rowdy the crowd and everything is at Lane?
I mean, it's a fun feeling when you're coming out that tunnel, but once I'm on the field, ready to go play, I really just zone everything out. Like, it's really quiet for me, and I just zone everything out, just go focus on the team and then focus on the play call and then going out there and go execute plays.
Your next question is going to be about the fifth row, still right-hand side.
Jordan Silversmith, SB Nation. As a quarterback, how does the technological advances this year, coach-to-player communication, tablets on the sideline kind of affect your game and enhance what you're able to do in the field?
I love it. We worked on it all spring, especially with the communication through the helmet. It just gives opportunity just to look at the defense while calling the play, not really looking towards the sideline. So I'm glad we have that in our backhand this year, and I'm really excited to use it throughout this season.
Your last question will come left side, second row, teal shirt there.
Hi, Nick Roby, backyard catch. So you came in as a transfer from Baylor. I guess kind of twofold. What drew you to Virginia Tech? And then how would you compare yourself where you were coming into last year and you came in and started in the middle of the year coming in this year? Just how's that comparison been for you?
What drew me to Virginia Tech was just Coach Bowen coming down to Waco first day portal open, and then just me and him had a connection, and I really liked what he wanted me to do in his offense, and I felt myself being a part of that. And then when I came on my visit to Virginia Tech, it was just a good feeling. It felt like home, and I felt like I really want to play in a position where the fans love football, and you could tell that's the way it is at Virginia Tech. And then based off last year to this year, it's just a way more confidence booster for me. I have way more confidence in me, myself, and the offense and the whole team, and I'm just ready to go out there and show that throughout the season this year.
Kyron, thank you. You can switch places with Antoine. We will spend 5 minutes with our next student athlete, defensive lineman out of Portsmouth, Virginia. Once again, please identify yourselves and the agency that you're with, and we will start right side, right on the aisle here, next to the cloth.
Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Good to see you. You heard me ask Kyron, but what has it been like to have an off season where people are loving on you guys, and what is it like to kind of tackle those expectations?
It's definitely, it's always good to get exposure, but we're not really looking for validation for nobody but us. So it's definitely great, but we're still working the same way.
Still on the right-hand side, gentleman in the white shirt, third row.
Antoine, how you doing? TJ Wilkerson from 90.9 The Light. My question for you is, you were at Florida for a couple years, entered the transfer portal, and came back home to Virginia Tech. What were the leading factors? Was it family? Was it Coach Pry? Can you go into that a little bit?
For sure, Coach Pry, having a defensive-minded coach is always good, especially from my position. But the scheme, I like the scheme, being able to play more traditional defensive end, trying to, it's a better chance of me going to get sacks,
Antoine, from the podium, you've done a lot of great stuff since your middle school years as a football player. Through high school, through college, what have you not done yet that you would like to do this year?
I want to score a touchdown. I got to. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but you got to make a way.
Sack fumble, that's
it. You got to make a way, that's definitely something that I want to do. I haven't scored yet, so.
We'll leave it at that. Second row, we'll get the microphone, Francesca, right to gentleman in the third row, actually. Black shirt, right side.
Tyler Budge, CF Budge. Down the stretch last season, you guys won 5 of 7. Defense really stepped up during that stretch. You yourself had 7.5 sacks during that stretch. What was something that clicked for the defense and really for the team as a whole that you noticed down the stretch?
I'll probably say like just the team chemistry. You know, I think we got comfortable with each other. We being able to get those games in helped getting the reps in within the actual game setting. I think that was one of the main things.
We're going to hustle a microphone left side. There's a gentleman wearing a maroon shirt. There we go.
Antoine, Tim Thomas from the Tech Lunch Pail. Obviously, you were a 4-star recruit from Virginia in high school, went to Florida, then came back. You had obviously a ton of success, All-ACC second team last year. Do you think what you did, bouncing back kind of and coming from Florida back to the Commonwealth, Virginia at Tech, is kind of maybe a trend, especially with Kelvin Gilliam coming from Oklahoma, Caleb Spencer coming from Miami this offseason as former high-profile in-state recruits who went elsewhere now are back at Tech?
I'm sorry, can you repeat it for me?
Just that you were a former 4-star recruit, you came back to Tech. Now we're seeing more of these guys kind of follow the path that you kind of blazed forward. Do you think this is a trend potentially going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it should be. You know, because home is always better in my opinion. That's coming from me now because I realized it. It's better. It's always better to bet on home than trying to go somewhere else.
We're going to go to the gentleman with the light ring, far left.
Rob Johnson, Legacy Maker Sports. Talk about coming from the 757, how tough football is out there, and just what that taught you coming to college because, you got the Oscar Smiths and all that stuff out there. So what did that teach you about football that makes your transition a little bit easier into college?
I'll probably say the work out of it all, being able to go out every day and not complain about the work, being able to be, I'll probably say being aggressive is definitely a hard-nosed sport. So,
Antoine, thank you. You can switch places with Dorian, and we will finish up with Mr. Strong. Dorian, welcome to the podium. Your first question will come left side, second row, midway through.
Hi, Dorian. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm Mary Denchemont with the Players Lounge, and you were the second FBS cornerback since 2014 with 300-plus coverage snaps. What led to such an exponential improvement in your game coming back from an injury in the 2022 season?
Oh, that's a great question. Just, my rehab process, talking to the coaches once going into spring ball and just making sure that I had a great offseason, just with training-wise, putting more mass onto my body, getting stronger, and just talking to the coaches also, going into the season, they had a great plan, just believing in them and believing in myself.
Dorian, right side, fourth row, all the way to the right.
Hey, Dorian, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. You got to hear your teammates' answers to this, but what's it been like to have an off-season where everybody's kind of loving on you, and how do you guys tackle those expectations and make sure that you kind of live up to them?
Yeah. So, it's been good, hearing everybody give us, great congratulations on our accomplishments last year. But, at the end of the day, we know that, we can be better. We know that, we still have work to do, just going through all 4 phases this year, winter, spring, summer, and we're now going into fall camp. So we know we still have a lot of work to do. It's a great thing, to get the pats on the backs. It feels good, just, boost your ego, give you confidence, because I feel like my job, my cornerback room is just trying to push confidence onto the guys, push a competitive edge onto them. So I feel like I've been doing a great job at that. And so regardless, the love, the hate, regardless which way it comes from, we take it and, you just got to move past it, Can't just let it dwell on you.
Dorian, from the podium, you played in all 11 games as a true freshman. That was the COVID season. That must feel like forever ago. What is it that you've learned about yourself through all of these experiences in the last 4 years?
That's a great question. What I learned about myself is just, how competitive I am. That's always been in me, always been instilled in me. And, just the coaches, since they've gotten here, Coach Pry, Coach Jones, I've just grown into being a man, a better football player. And yeah, so just from COVID, it was a very interesting time. Wouldn't change it. I loved the experience, the empty stadiums. It felt like high school, so I was able to just get my feet under me and just calm down for and just gain my confidence back.
Right side, front row.
Lever KT, CFB Nation. We're going to have a conversation that a lot of people not going to understand, but we just going to have it. I'm from PG County. You from PG County. You went to Wise High School, Mumble Sauce, Go-Go Music. But it's a lot of talent in PG County, and I feel like it gets overlooked. So what was it like, one, growing up in PG County, Upper Marlboro, to be exact, we from Oxon Hill. What was it like growing up there? And two, talk about some of the talent that a lot of people don't know about this thing.
Yeah, so, man, definitely was an interesting time growing up. I feel like going to Wise, I was, I played JV for 2 years. A lot of guys probably play JV for 1 year and go straight to varsity. But me personally, played JV for 2 years. I broke my thumb my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, I went crazy at receiver. And so, just all my life, I thought I was going to be, offensive guy. And then my coach, he just sat me down, had a conversation with me. He was like, hey, I think you should go to cornerback. It was during 7-on-7. But, I just had a lot of, grind just through my high school years. I feel like I was a diamond in the rut type of player. Didn't get a lot of recognition until my junior year, for real. Went to a spotlight camp. The old staff, Tech, they offered me, and I felt, very grateful because, I was talking to a lot of, Power 5 schools, but they wasn't trying to shoot their shot. So when Tech shot their shot, I feel like they believed in me, they trusted me. So I never look back for I feel like there is a lot of talent in Maryland. I feel like you got me and you got my man Mansour from Maryland also. Just 2 starting cornerbacks from Maryland. So definitely is a lot of hidden talent in the state of Maryland.
Dorian, your last question will come back from TJ, right side, third row.
How you doing, Dorian?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for asking. First off, I love the fit.
Appreciate it, man.
I love
Appreciate
it. My question for you is, you've had a lot of success throughout your entire time at Virginia Tech. Is there a personal accomplishment for what could be your final year at VT that you haven't accomplished yet that you really want to accomplish this season?
Yeah, so I want to pick 6 in Lane Stadium. I've been fortunate enough to, catch a couple of picks in my career, but I only think I got, 1 in Lane Stadium. So I felt that roar that first time when I was, running, but now, just to do that, to catch multiple pick 6s in Lane Stadium.
Dorian, thank you. Virginia Tech, good luck this season. Folks, we have lunch until 12.